Welcome to All Music Matters in That, a podcast for all things related to music. If you're new to the channel, make sure you like and comment below and consider subscribing so you can show your support and join today so you can see more content like this in the future. And now, let's get into the episode.
So I saw what a lot of other people were doing. They had like their own, it's their own little shtick, for their channel. So I was trying to figure out, well, what could I do? I don't want to just try to imitate everybody else. I want to do something, but I want to, give people something else.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the All Music Matters in That podcast. I'm your host, Bryan, and with me today is Chris, is it Lupica?
Lupica,
did I say your last name?
Lupica,
okay.
Yeah.
That was my next guess, but alright, whatever. This is actually our second take, because yesterday we were running into some technical difficulties, weren't we?
Yeah, it was horrible.
If we want to call it technical difficulties anymore.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Well, Chris, the reason why I wanted to reach out to you today, and I actually saw your interview with Drummer's Key, and I guess, can you tell us a little bit about that? I guess, did he just reach out to you, just kind of wanted to get to know you a little bit more?
Yeah, he put out a message on Facebook and basically said that he wanted to do the series called Under the Covers, and he hit up a bunch of people saying, hey, if you're interested, shoot me a message. And yeah, I was very interested in doing it. He hit a few other drummers out there. I think his first one was Ash, drums by Ash Wells. And yeah, I really loved the interview. I thought it was great. I love the series. I think it's a really cool thing to do something like this, kind of like how we're doing. Gives an insight to our little community here.
Oh yeah, absolutely. He was also a Dallas fan too, and you're a Philly fan?
Yeah. I originally lived in Philly till I was a teenager. I mean, I'm still right on the cusp of Philly. It's a Philly suburbs area in PA. But as you can kind of tell, I'm a pretty diehard Philly fan. I got the Flyers going there, got Rocky, Eagles, the whole thing going on.
Yeah, I'm in Pittsburgh, so I wanted to kind of show off a little bit, but my dad thought that wasn't appropriate here, so I'll just say fellow brothers from Pennsylvania. How about that?
That sounds good to me. Yeah, I got nothing. I got no beef on Pittsburgh aside from the Penguins, but I'm gonna let that slide.
Yeah,
I have no room to talk
my
right
brother-in-law.
now. Oh yeah,
yeah, that's my brother-in-law. Yeah, he's a huge Flyer fan. Whenever they're at least winning, as we want to put it, and
I can't even say anything right now. The entire franchise is just going down the tube. So.
You guys traded Claude Giroux too, so now
yeah,
you kind of lost all your star players at this point.
Yeah, it was finalized yesterday. It was something that was a long time coming, but I'm a huge Giroux fan, but I'm at the point now where I want him to go win a cup, and it looks like the Florida Panthers are stacked. So when he went there, I'm like, you know what? I know who I'm rooting for this coming Cup playoffs. So fingers crossed for him. I'm wishing him the best because he's been part of the organization for 15 years, drafted when he was such a young kid, and so many huge moments. And I'm just wishing him the best. It's no hard feelings on my part as a Flyers fan. I just want the best for him.
Absolutely, yeah. So yeah, Florida's pretty stacked too. I'm actually curious if they could beat the Lightning, because my dad thinks that the Lightning could three-peat if they're lucky, but I think Florida can top them this year. So
I think so too.
We'll see what happens.
Yep.
We'll see what happens. Mm-hmm. All right, but we'll get to sports a little bit later, because I think we'll have some pretty interesting conversations about that. But just to kind of start off this episode, tell us a little bit about yourself, and also extend into your YouTube channel and how you got into drums.
So name's Chris. Like I said, I'm from Philly originally, just right around the area of Philly. Been around this area all my life. Really haven't gone outside of Pennsylvania. I married my wonderful wife we've been together for 20 years. We've been married since '08. I got 4 great kids together. A few of them have been on my channel through a couple of videos, which I got to plug in the little kids,
The one hitting the cowbell, yeah.
Yeah, that's my oldest daughter, Mia. She's actually almost 13 now. Please, everybody, pray for me. So she, when I was mentioning on Drummer's Keys, interview, that the kids kind of have this outlook on Daddy's a YouTuber, so they wanted to kind of get in on it. She's the only one who I have actually playing. I had my other daughter, Cece, and for just the thumbnail for the We Don't Talk About Bruno video. And my youngest daughter, Eliana, she's on the thumbnail in the picture for the Baby Shark. So, it was just little tributes to them. So, but yeah, they're just absolutely incredible. I just love the whole family life. It's just really a really big part of me. But other than that, I work in a hospital. I'm an X-ray tech, a major hospital in the Philadelphia area. Been doing that since '08, so it's been a long time for that. I love doing that as well. Get to see a lot of different patients. I've been working through so many different services, so it's really, really good thing. So that's kind of my personal, side, family life, work, and how I got into drums. I actually started seriously when I was about 17. At the time, my brother was playing guitar. The same time, my dad was actually helping teach him. My dad's been playing guitar for many, many years. I got uncles that are into music for so many years, so a lot of music's been rooted into my family. But I really got into anything, but everybody seemed to go more towards guitar. So when I wanted to get into the mix, I wanted to different. I mean, I got nothing against guitar. It's just something that I preferred. I always wanted to go a different route. And they were egging me on, especially my brother, saying, why don't you try the drums? Because he was looking for somebody to jam with. So, around that time, I started to get lessons, started to pick up a few things. I took some lessons to learn the basics. I'm primarily self-taught. I wish I'd stuck with the lessons, because I think I would have been leaps and bounds ahead of where I am now. But really, it just comes down to just drums are so much fun. I just have such a blast playing. It's just a different vibe that I can get from when I tried guitar before and bass guitar, but just never stuck with it. This was just so much more fun to me. But yeah, primarily rock, I stuck with that because it seemed like it was the easier thing to start and learn from. And it just stemmed from there, just been sticking with that. I took a little break somewhere in there. I just didn't have the space and the time for practice. And so, it was about a maybe few year stretch where I would go from playing to maybe a few times a month. So it was just the only thing that I could do. So I kind of fizzled, my skill wise, and then I just picked them back up when I was able to grab the electronic kit. And it's a very abridged version of my drum story there.
I guess what got you into YouTube? Were you seeing other people doing drum covers of these songs, or perhaps your favorite song, and you felt like, I could do that? Why don't I just jump right in and see how it goes? Was it something like that, or what's the story behind that?
The drum covers that I was watching was more like the big names, like Kobus and Andrea Vadrucci, also known as Vadrum. Guys have been doing this for the very early stages of YouTube, and I always wanted to do something like that. But at the time, I had an acoustic kit and not space to do it. I didn't have the technology. I didn't have the cameras, sound equipment. So, but I was itching to do it. I was trying to figure out a way to do it, and I got into an electronic kit when I had less space and I was trying to keep the volume down for family. So when I looked into it and I did a lot of research and I decided on the Roland TD25 KV, sound quality, everything was much easier to handle. So I looked into like just saying, all right, now I think I could finally give it a go. So I saw what a lot of other people were doing. They had like their own, I guess, their own little shtick, for their channel. So I was trying to figure out, well, what could I do? I don't want to just try to imitate everybody else. I want to do something, but I want to, give people something else. So, yeah, exactly. I was looking at basically something that I'm also a very nostalgic person. Like a lot of 80s and 90s stuff, like from when I was a kid. I was born in 83. So a lot of the stuff, like when I was a kid, I think about those things. I just get that nostalgic rush. So that's when I decided to try to do the throwback theme. So like, let me pick some things that I could, I could really, that could bring people back to that time too. So you see a lot of my covers are either hits from the 80s and 90s, some theme songs, some medleys. That's really the theme of it. So when I started, I just stuck with that theme. I do a few that aren't really in that, but it's only mainly just little projects that I want to do, little tributes to certain people or something like that. It's just something that I wanted to do for myself, but why should I just limit that to me? Just put it out there and see if it gets a reception, and just to kind of like expose other people to it. But yeah, I was just really just trying to get into it, was just trying to find an easy way to do it. Because like I said, I'm just not tech savvy. I don't have that knowledge to do it with an acoustic kit. And, this was the easiest way for me to do it right here. So.
Is that a Roland TD25? Is that what it is? Or
yeah,
yeah,
it's a TD25 KV. The TD25 module right here. And really, when I was doing the research for getting into an electronic kit, I went to something that I didn't want to go super expensive, like the top of the line Rolands. I wanted to stick with Roland, but I didn't want to go too high, too expensive. But I also didn't want to go too low. So when I was doing the research, and I settled on this one because the software and the module, basically the technology of their flagship name or their kit, which I think was a 38. What they did with this module is they scaled it down a little bit. All the technology is there to give that feel and sound. It's just not as many samples. So it was a good way for me to settle on this one. So I can get the best quality sound, but also, stick with it. And also it gives a few more pieces too. There's actually the lower ends, they usually only have like a ride, a crash, and a hi-hat, where this one has another crash, an ability for another trigger, which I added the BT1 bar trigger. And they're the bigger mesh heads too, with the individual rims. So it's just a great feel. It was a no-brainer to go this route. Oh,
absolutely, yeah. You have to worry about waking everybody up when you're just trying to get a nice little jam session in.
Absolutely. Yeah. I'm actually, this room that I jam in and I do my recordings is right next door to our bedroom, and my wife could be completely sound asleep in La La Land with whoever, and I'm just smacking away. I'm playing some of the hardest stuff through these headphones, and I'm smacking the heck out of it. She is just snoring away. So it's just
hopefully not with anybody else. Not with anybody else, except for maybe bringing the kids in and just coming.
Only in La La Land. It's like whatever she does. Whatever she does in her dreams, I don't care, as long as there's nobody else in the bed.
Just here talking in her sleep. It's like, oh, Bruno.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
We don't talk about Bruno. All right.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. What brand are your sticks? Do you use Vic Firth?
Yeah, I actually used to work in a music store, and I tried different brands. I was a big ProMark guy, but I actually, and I did Vaders for a while too. But Vic Firth, I feel like is the sturdiest. They warp less, they last the longest, and I mean, with electronic, you can make one pair last so long, you know.
Mm.
But the other brands try to use 7 days of electronic.
Mm.
You know, at least the feel on here. So I used to do 5A, 5Bs on my acoustics when I had them, but I just stick with 7As. So Vic Firth 7As is just it's a good stick for me to go with on this.
I guess growing up, who was your biggest influence in drumming wise? I guess you said it came later because at first you wanted to try guitar and bass. I guess did you know to any drummers when you started taking drumming seriously? Who did you turn to as an influence?
There were a few when I first started. The biggest one for me, and it kind of goes with the shirt right here, was Nick Mason from Pink Floyd. And I explained it before. The reason why was because when I was being a self-taught drummer, I was going for something with a slow tempo that I can follow and really break down a little better. And Nick Mason is a phenomenal drummer. He's so skilled, but he's one of those, I love the drummers who, even though they're so skilled, they just do what is necessary for their sound. And that's exactly what Nick Mason does. So I was playing a lot of Pink Floyd songs, a lot from Dark Side of the Moon, The Wall. I was able to follow along with those very, very well, and it helped build my confidence. Other than that, when I started getting to think of a little more crazy outside of that wheelhouse was John Densmore from The Doors. Incredibly complicated stick pattern, because he can do so many different styles, not just his rock for The Doors, but he can throw in a mambo beat, a jazz beat, and stuff like that. So I was that was like the different sides of the spectrum. I had like Nick Mason on one side and John Densmore on another. And then it's a little embarrassing for me to admit this out loud, but I don't care. I'm going to go there. At the time I was learning, I was a Creed fan. So Scott Phillips from Creed was also another one too. So when I would jam to the Creed songs, he had a lot more of an eccentric style. It's weird for me to say. He was just all over the place and just really breaking, cutting loose. And I went for that for the fun side. So I had like technical, simple fun. I was just I was experiencing a lot of styles. But I would say those were the 3 big ones when I first started. But I've had so many other influences since then.
No, I don't think there's anything wrong with the guy from Creed, Scott Phillips.
Yep.
And I know some people poke fun at the song with Arms Wide Open, but
of course,
whatever. I don't really get it either. I just say I thought it was a good song.
Yeah.
I just shrugged too. I'm just like, what? I thought it was a good song. I said Higher was better.
I loved Higher. I mean, Higher. Actually, I was more a fan of my favorite was their first album, My Own Prison. I mean, I would sometimes jam to that from beginning to end. I would just hit the CD on loop and I would just play from beginning to end. But yeah, I mean, they only had 3 albums, so I mean, they didn't really have a huge library. But I would say that was the second album, Human Clay.
I have that one too.
Yeah. I mean, they had a lot of hits on that one, but it was just, I mean, like I said, I would actually watch live footage of him and I would try to emulate him because of how much fun he looked like he was having. So I mean, he was a big one for me.
You did mention about the other instruments you did try to get into. Do you still, from time to time, just get up and play with them every now and again, like a bass guitar or guitar?
No. I joke around with the guitar part only because my brother's the guitar player. So, I would just if he would, we would jam and he'd put his guitar down. I got to go take a piss or something like that. I would grab it And I would play because I would joke that the only chord I can remember. He tried to teach me a few songs, like not chords. He just tried to teach me a few songs. Like, just play these 4 chords and you can play "Last Kiss" by Pearl Jam or something, like, the Pearl Jam version. It was like something like stupid like that. But the only one I can remember was G, the G chord. So I would just pick it up and start slamming the G chord, and he'd be like, "Damn it, Chris, knock it off," through the bathroom. But then when I was working in the music store, I tried a little bit of bass, and I was learning mainly just some notes, just no crazy bass lines, just something to follow along with certain songs. But if I picked it up, I could probably do a random song here and there that I might remember. But I never kept with it. I end up selling my bass guitar to get more drum equipment anyway, so it's not like I have regular access to it.
Did your brother ever teach you "Smoke on the Water"?
No, that one was not like, even though it's just a simple yeah, it's like it's something that you could probably just follow along on just the top E. But no, the one that he taught me that I could probably keep doing right now because it was so simple was probably Seven Nation Army, the White Stripes. So
yeah, the one that we did the 16 collab on.
That was so much fun, man. I'm not a huge White Stripes fan. I always joked that Meg White was the simplest drummer that was out there. I can't deny it's a fun song. It really is. Once you really get down into it, you just get swept up. It's great.
Speaking of which, did Ash reach out to you and say like, "Hey, I got this little project going along. You want to tag along?" Or were you part of that two drums collaborations group?
Yeah, I was doing collabs for a while before he did that group, and he hit me up to do a collab with him before that. And then he started the group, and he's like, "Oh, bring some of your, the people that you collabed with before." And he even collabed with a couple of them too, like Jack Pryor. One I did Thunderstruck with. Lanau is the guy from France that I did a few videos with him, and I did Billie Jean, and Tonight. I forget the band who does it. Tonight is the song, and Love Roller Coaster by Red Hot Chili Peppers. So we kind of like meshed our groups together, and I brought it to his his Facebook group that he started, which is awesome, by the way. I mean, I've been talking to a bunch of people through there and getting projects together with a bunch of them, which is awesome. I love doing these collabs. But when he did the 16, we had already done a couple before that. But when he did the 16 collab for Seven Army, he put out more of a mass message for a few people, and he did hit me up on that one through Facebook Messenger and said, "Hey, I'm arranging this. You want to be in it?" And I'm always down for a collab. They're just so much fun to do. So yeah, I mean, I was 100% in on that.
Actually, you did that one with Bruno. I saw that recent one, and you commented back, so thanks for replying to that.
Absolutely.
Paper Cut by Linkin Park. What made you guys want to do that one? Was it your idea?
No, actually, that was his. But I'm a huge Linkin Park fan. If I had to label one band right now, it's Linkin Park. I just get swept up in Chester and just their sound, their uniqueness. So I think maybe he knew that and baited me on it. Said, hey, you want to? He gave me a couple options. I forget what the other song was, but one was Paper Cut, and I said it's no brainer. I got to do Paper Cut, what you do, because I had already done In the End with Ash, and also Faint on my channel by myself. I just it's like, if anybody's listening to this and you want to bait me into something, it's definitely Park. That's the one to get me on. So
yeah, that Hybrid Theory, oh my gosh, that was 2001, so that's now over 20 some years now.
Yeah. I think it was 2000. I think because I was doing for the Paper Cut, and yeah, it was 2000. It's actually crazy to think it's been that long. Linkin Park being around that long, and obviously the death of Chester Bennington was such a huge hit. But yeah, I mean,
Rest in peace.
absolutely, yeah. Rest in peace, dude. The first two albums, I believe they're like the biggest ones that hit me. Meteora and Hybrid Theory. Also Reanimation.
Oh,
I mean,
absolutely.
yeah. I mean, but just since then, just like even just all these other hits that they kept churning out were just really, I cannot find a song that you can pick at random from there that does not connect with me in some way. It just gets me going. I mean, I pick one at random and put it through the module here and just get lost in it. It's
Yeah.
awesome.
I always felt like after Minutes to Midnight, it was kind of a little bit of a slow, I guess, I don't want to say going mainstream, but maybe that's what some people would say. It felt like they went different than what they were doing from Hybrid Fury and Meteora. So they kind of lose touch. And then after I heard about his passing too, I felt really bad. And there's times when I've heard the song talking to myself when I'm at the gym and they play it on one of the TVs that has like music choice or whatever it is that they're playing on. It really brings back those kind of memories. And I remember being as a kid, not really liking Hybrid Fury at first because I'm thinking like, you got the screamo going on. I don't understand this. I've been so used to the classic rock and some of the Metallica. So when you
Yeah,
first heard Hybrid Fury, I guess, what was your first impression, if you can remember?
my first impression was that I I I was drawn to their uniqueness. Like they meshed so many different styles. Like when you first listen to them, you got the screaming, but also like Chester Bennington, yeah, he screams. But if you ever listen to just his regular singing voice, it's amazing. Um, so I kind of was lost in that group of people who thought, oh, it's just a screaming heavy metal dude. But I'm like, but did you listen to the rest of the band? You got Mike Shinoda who does like a rap hip hop kind of feel. You got Mr. Hahn with the turntables, giving it like a techno type of feel. You got the hard rock and guitar work. It was just like, I'm like, oh my God, they just get this hybrid, like for lack of a better word, this hybrid
Yeah.
of music because they just put all the together. And that was really what drew me to them. I did I did like kind of lose it a little bit with lyrics only because it seemed a little like that emo kind of thing. But then, everything really started to make sense, especially with, his passing and suffering from the depression. Um,
Mm.
it kind of spoke to a certain group. I guess I wasn't part of that group with a lyric wise, but the music was great and his voice was incredible. And then once it all made sense to me, I started to not think so close minded and it made a lot of sense. So, yeah, I just think that it's just one of those bands that really did what they did the best, if I can put it in a very vague term. So,
Yeah. The Faint remix. I've heard that one. That is without doubt godly, to put it short. Did you ever hear that one?
what is it again?
It's Faint, but it's remix.
The remix. Yes, yes, I have. Yeah, it's.
Oh,
I like their remixes. I mean, especially the Reanimation. I know that was only the remixes of the first. But, I do like the remixes to give something that they've already done a whole new feel, and I do really enjoy those.
oh, absolutely. I was trying to think. Favorite Linkin Park song? Go.
Favorite Linkin Park song? Shadow of the
Yeah.
Day.
Shadow of the Day?
Yeah, yeah. It was actually a very hard distinction between that because I had this recently. It's either Shadow of the Day or My December from the Reanimation, but I had to go with Shadow of the Day. As much as I love the hard rock and fun stuff, I love that melodic tone to that song.
If I had to pick just three, just keep it simple. The three from Hybrid Fury, Meteora, and Minutes to Midnight. I agree with you. Shadow of the Day for Minutes to Midnight. Paper Cut for Hybrid Fury. Let's see. Meteora. What was a couple there? The one for Meteora, I would say Figure .09. I think it's right after Fane. Number 8, I believe.
Oh wow! Yes, yep. Actually, yeah. I forgot about that track. I would have to say if I had to go through it, my favorite from Hybrid Theory is actually the last track, the very last track. Push Me Away, yes. Push Me Away for that one.
Rockavator did a cover of that one too.
Oh yeah? Okay.
I didn't see it yet, but I just saw he had posted a video for it.
Oh, did he? Okay. Yeah, I gotta check that out. I gotta check that out, definitely. But I think for Meteora, I think I kind of have to go with Fate on that one. First song that drew me to that album. I mean, you know, there's so many great tracks on it, but I think I had to go with that. And then Shadow of the Day.
Yeah. Well, Fate too, because they also made the music video for that, and I think that just got so much airtime too, so it just grabbed your attention.
Mm-hmm. I actually the video to Breaking the Habit. I love the whole anime kind of look to it, you know, which was great. Oh, so incredible.
But Numb was another good one too. I think I'll give that one a close second from the Meteora album.
Which one was it?
Numb.
Oh, Numb. Yes, absolutely. Yeah. I actually loved the what do they call that? Collision Course with Jay-Z. I'm sorry, I liked it. I loved it.
No. I actually did see that too. Yeah, I saw what you mean. Yeah, that was I guess whatever they call it, just a little collaboration project they did with Jay-Z.
Mm-hmm. Six tracks. It's all it was.
There was that, and then I think I did see, and they did like a live version of that song too. They brought Jay-Z on as well.
Mm-hmm.
So that was when I figured out about it.
Yeah, when I bought that, which was one of the last albums I bought. When I bought Collision Tour, they gave you a DVD, a free DVD, and it's just their whole live performance of all 6 songs, which is incredible.
Yeah, I've seen like other groups like do sort of collaborations with like rap artists. I know one of the thrash metal bands, Anthrax, had teamed up with Public Enemy. They made that whole album together. It was a Bring the Noise, that sort of thing.
Oh wow!
That song
Wow, I gotta check that out.
It's actually a pretty good one. Absolutely, it's killer too.
Right. I'll definitely check it
out. During COVID, I guess, how bad did COVID affect you?
I think COVID.
More emotionally or mentally, because I don't think you never got COVID, did you?
No, my kids did though. 2 of my kids did, but it was the recent strain, the Omicron strain. But it was very quick through there. I had a few scares myself only because of the work in healthcare. But I think that's the biggest impact that it had for me was through work, because I would, at the height of it, was it March 2020. You know, when it first really hit big, everybody was just really scared to death, but I never stopped. I kept working. A lot of people working from home or whatever. I didn't stop. I had to go in because I'm working in an inpatient facility. People are still there. They need stuff. It's not just like an outpatient where they close off before people can come in. So I think really what it was just the workload impact of it. My work was drastically increased through it, but I mean, it needed to be. We just had to step up to the plate and do it. We just had to take our precautions, which was, I mean, I would at least 4 to 5 times the time that it would take me to do a regular procedure was drastically increased in time frame and so much work because of that, because you have to make sure you have precautions. I literally looked like I had the metal on with the plastic shield, or the helmet on with a plastic shield, gowns and everything. I looked like something out of the movie E.T. I looked like I was going to go capture E.T. You know, that's what it was. But it was kind of an emotional thing for me, because every single day I would come home and, you know, something would happen in the day that would hit me. Like, you know, I just see so many people, so many young people just really hit hard with this, and maybe think about my family and my kids and making sure that everything's good. And my kids are running to me as soon as I walk through the door. They're running to me going, Dad. I'm like, I had a strong arm. I'm like, no, stay back. I gotta go I gotta throw my clothes in the washer. I gotta go take a shower. I gotta make sure that, you know,
I gotta get cleansed.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. I wanted there to be like a decontamination chamber or something like that where they spray me with that stuff or whatever. But it just, I think really what it was for me emotionally and mentally, it was the work aspect of it. But I mean, we got through some really tough times. I mean, I had to thank my coworkers, for that, and all the people who supported me for it, because being a frontline worker, it was tough. I mean, just the appreciation of it really got me through it. And I think that, I mean, a couple of my family members did get it, but it was like more of either an asymptomatic thing where they just had to let it pass, or they just quarantined at home and then that was it. Not a lot of people were that lucky. I saw people go through the ER, they get diagnosed with it, but they found out the hard way that some pre-existing conditions that put them in a horrible spot. Then they got admitted. Some were put on ventilators. It was tough. It was tough to see, and my heart went out to them. But I mean, we got through really rough times through this hospital, and I think things are getting better. Fingers crossed that we're going to keep on the same trajectory, and hope. I mean, I just can't wait for the day that we can just look back at it and say, "Oh my God, remember this? Remember that? Like, wasn't that crazy?" And we don't have to say that we're still living in it.
Absolutely. Huge props to all the doctors out there, especially you two. So,
thanks. I appreciate that.
No worries. Were you like kind of helping out? I know you said you're an X-ray. I was just going to say X-ray specialist. I know you gave me the actual term, but were you helping out more in the ER rooms for the more serious patients, or did you just kind of like assist here and there?
No, I was pretty much all throughout the hospital. Our department does daily rotations for different services. So one day I might be doing portable X-rays for a cardiothoracic unit. Another day I might be working in an operating room or an emergency. So we kept that same trajectory, but we just kind of tried to help each other out. But when it came to, I mean, any type of X-ray that I would go and do, it doesn't matter if you're an X-ray tech or a nurse or a doctor or like what, if you're in there to help. So I would find myself going in and doing my X-ray, but then I would be like, "Oh, what do you need assistance with? What can I help?" As long as it's within my scope of practice, I'm going to do it. I mean, it's not about me, it's about them. So it's about the patient, it's about helping each other out, get the job done, and, helping them feel better. So, I tend to help out a lot through, whatever it is I can do. I try to tell them my motto is, I'm not useless beyond X-ray. That's what I always tell them. I'm not useless beyond X-ray. So if it's something that I can do, obviously I can't give medications. I can't, prescribe or anything like that. But, if I'm there to help, like I can help you reposition, do this, do that, move things around, get some support, I'm going to do it. So we all helped each other out for that.
Awesome. That's very good to hear. I guess what's your plans as we slowly claw our way out of COVID and all that? I guess what's your plans for the future, and I guess on your YouTube channel as well? You just going to keep rolling what you're doing?
Yeah, pretty much. I'm just going to concentrate on, concentrating on my family and, for my own personal side, just kind of family, getting my family through the tough times ahead, and hopefully things are getting better. Making sure that they stay safe, and just to help other people, like, because there's a lot of people who have different, outlooks on COVID, and how it affects them and how it affects other people. Some people take it lighter, some people take it heavier. The only thing I can do is just help educate for what I see, just say, listen, this is what we're seeing. This is, you can take what you want from the news, but I'm just letting you know, I'm seeing it firsthand. I'm giving you my perspective firsthand. You can take that for what it is and do whatever you want. But, I'm just concentrating on making sure that my family, my wife, and, my extended family are well taken care of. yeah, and as for my, going to keep on doing what I'm doing. You'll see on my channel, I'm going to be doing more of my new series, which is the One Hit Wonder series. I'm only 2 episodes in. My plans for that is to either I'm going to try to do them on Throwback Thursday. So, so far I'm going to try to do them like maybe every other Throwback Thursday if I can, depending on time. I have a list. I have a list of one hit wonders that I plan on doing and putting out there. And for the projects in between, I'm trying to stick with, my theme, which is like a lot of 80s and 90s nostalgia. I might do some outside of that area if they're fun enough and, they get demand for it. I might do some more tributes. I did a few tributes. I did one to one of my biggest influences on YouTube, like not drums because he does do it, but YouTube, which is also known as the Angry Video Game Nerd. He's puts out a lot of fun content. So, but he was my inspiration for YouTube because looking at his making of stuff, I kind of relate to him. Like, had some, he was kind of like, I guess you would say he was like an awkward, but like had some kind of social issues with that. I kind of related to that. And he helped me break out of my shell to do this kind of thing. It's like he does what he wants, what he likes to do, and he just puts it out there and just has fun with it. And that's where I got that from. So that's just one example of the tribute videos that I do. So I might do some more of those. But yeah, I mean, I'm just going to stick with this trajectory. And if I have any other ideas, I'm definitely going to be putting that up on Facebook, advertising it. I'm always open for criticism, suggestions, requests. And if I can put them, I definitely will if time allots for it. And yeah, those are my plans.
Do you get a lot of trolls on yours? Like, do they post like these, like, criticizing kind of comments, and it's like you click on their names and you find out they have like little to no subscribers or any videos or anything like that? Do you ever get some of those guys?
I've gotten a few negative comments, but I take any comment, seriously. Like, I'm not offended or anything like that. I look at it as a way if people don't tell you what you're doing wrong, you're never going to perfect it. You're always just going to think that, as long as I'm staying on this, I'll be okay. But like, I've had some people put in there saying, either the sound quality wasn't good for some weird reason, like, which is how I could just look to equalize, I just take that as a suggestion, like, oh, okay, I'm going to see what else I can do to make that better. I've had like a couple people mention stuff like about like my daughter's video, how I said I called it a drum duet. But really she only played the cowbell because that's the only thing that she could. And they're just like, a duet? She just hitting a cowbell. And I'm like, yeah.
Yeah. Any pointers?
Exactly. I mean, it was the only thing that she knew how to do. But I just, every comment, whether it's good or bad, I just really listen to them. I appreciate all the feedback that I've gotten. I appreciate all the support. All my subscribers, everybody in the YouTube or the Facebook groups, mainly are the biggest, the biggest supporters. And I really do appreciate everybody who's been watching the videos and putting comments, whether they are good or bad. I welcome it. I welcome it as criticism. So, I'm more positive than negative comments, but they are there. They are there. I can't ignore them. If you're on YouTube, you can't ignore them.
No, I know. I just get some of them too. I just delete them too because I want more of the constructive criticism that says like, you need to do this better, this and that, and I'd be like, okay, thank you. We had a nice, honest conversation about it. That's pretty much what I'm looking for too. So now I know what to improve on for the next one. Not just like, oh, you can't play that. Don't play drums, man, or something like that.
Yeah, I think it's like one of the biggest ones I see for whether it's mine or another like channel is song choice. Like, really, dude, who cares? Like, it's like that's where it comes to. You force your preference on somebody. It's like, I will listen to any drum cover, and I will gladly, because I like to listen to songs that I don't know or I haven't heard before, because it exposes genre to me, or it exposes a new artist to me. But I see a lot of people like, Metallica or something like that. And it's like, oh, you're going to do Metallica, Lars, and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, who cares? It's like, just listen to what this person is doing. I mean, you're definitely going to get people who just want to force their opinions on you. That's just the way of social media now. But I mean, just put it out there. You're going to find more supporters of that genre than you are of deniers. So.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. I know. I tend to get into the rock and metal, so some of the ones I played was like Napalm Death, which I'm not very good at trying to do blast beats, but I just do it anyway, and I just try to have fun with it as best I can. So
yeah, I mean, that's the best way to put it. Just have fun.
Yeah, I mean, what else do people want? I'm not Neil Peart here or anything like that. I'm just trying my best here, people.
Yeah, and that's another. I mean, just like nobody's going to be Neil Peart except Neil Peart. He was the only one who could beat Neil Peart.
Yeah,
and I have my favorite drummers. One of the comments on Facebook or whatever is who's the best. Like, nobody's the best. I can tell you my favorite. I'm not going to tell you who's the best because I don't think they exist. Because you can't compare Neil Peart to my favorite drummer of all time, who's Gene Krupa. We're talking about a completely different genre, a completely different decade, a completely different stuff like that. It's just, just give your reasons. Why do you think this person's your favorite? What do they do differently? Oh, okay, and exposes people. It makes people think outside the box.
Instead of just giving like a simple answer, just because.
Mm-hmm.
It's this drummer, yeah, or like I like this album because it's
exactly
this album.
Yeah.
So, all right, so let's go to Pennsylvania a little bit because I know you touched on it a little bit with Drummer's Key. I guess you guys were talking about the Amish out in Central PA there. I guess what were you doing out there? Just to kind of.
So
I kind of rehash on that story. Yeah.
Well, when I went out there, it was mainly because during the quarantine we decided to get a dog. So, I like to say that my dog is a quarantine dog. So, but we went to a breeder because we wanted to go with a breeder who bred golden retrievers, because we do that they're great family dogs, and we want to get one from a puppy, the very early stages that we can. Grow, and we can just like raise in the house ourselves. So we went on the website. Yeah, yep, that's it. He's barking to come inside. One of my kids will let him. No, he just loves to have fun out there. He's just barking at. Yeah, I think he's actually barking at neighbors' dogs right now. But yeah, so when we went there, we actually had to travel past Lancaster, and we went I think Lancaster's Amish. And then past that's what they call Mennonites. I never knew what a Mennonite was until I drove out there. I'm like, what's the difference between them? I think the Amish or the Mennonites are just not they do have a little bit of technical aspect to it, but they're not completely all about technology, but just a little bit. So when I was driving through the area, I was looking at all the different lifestyles and how everything was going. And I think really what I saw was just how differently people live. And when I went to this house that was for Mennonites, I didn't know what to expect. And when I went down that driveway, it was a very long driveway, lots of open land. And then we crossed over this bridge on this person's property still. And the house and the farms, gorgeous, very well landscaped, incredible, incredible to the houses. I mean, and the families were just so nice. Everybody was just treating everybody with such respect. They were very, very welcoming for us. They were very supportive of us, and it's like, wow, I think I'm living the wrong way. I think I need to look into this, But yeah, it was, really, that was the main thing. But I have experience with the Amish people because, especially through the Philly area, they come through to sightsee, but also they come over to the hospital too for treatment. So I do encounter a lot of people from different cultural backgrounds, different lifestyles, especially in the Pennsylvania area. Because I mean, the hospital I work in, a lot of people travel from afar to come, to be treated there. So when I saw, I kind of get a little bit of taste. I like that people can show me how they live and how they think, and it gets me out of my own little bubble that I live in over here. Mm-hmm. And I get to see different styles, and I'm like, and I get to see what maybe something I could be doing differently, something that I can and apply to a better lifestyle for me and my family. So yeah, I really do like the different cultures that we have just in our own little state right here.
Yeah. My experience was just kind of brief with the Amish because when I was looking at colleges, one of them was Westminster up in New Wellington, I think was the town that it was called.
Okay.
And I think outside that town, I think there was Amish communities, and I think we did see a horse and buggy going up the road the one time when we were coming in to visit the college. And I didn't go to that one. I went to Waynesburg University for my college. That was my choice. Graduated there, my master's and everything. And but thinking back on it too, I tend to think it was pretty wide open too, considering you get beautiful landscapes and everything. You see some of the mountains right there in the distance. I don't know if we can call them the Appalachian Mountains or something. I'm pretty sure that's what it is, but I never actually met any of the Mennonites or anything like that. So I think that story was actually pretty cool. So actually, thanks for sharing that. So.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I was the only Mennonite family that I met and talked with up close, outside of a few that went to the hospital. But I actually talked to them a little bit after we got to talk because they were like, listen, we want to make sure that everything's okay. Please contact us if you have any questions, anything like that, because this was our first dog that we raised in our house. And we had some questions, and they were very receptive. Please contact us. And we called them, and they were like, okay, well, just let us know that everything's okay. Please, we want to make sure that everything's all right. They were just so nice, so great.
Did you say Philly's pretty diverse too, with some of the European cultures like Polish, German, maybe some Hungarian, and all the other sort of clusters in there? Did you say it's pretty diverse?
Philly, I mean, I can't say that I've really gone too into Philadelphia. I mean, where I lived, it was Overbrook, which is who's familiar with Will Smith, that's where he came from. But yeah, it's I think they're when I grew up in my area, it was mainly a close-knit Italian section. And then if you went elsewhere, you can kind of see different other cultures. But that was until I was a teenager, and then when we moved out of the area. But I think there are some. I mean, it's a good melting pot. From when I travel there every day, into central Philly every day for work, and coming back, you do tend to see the local shops and the mom and pops and stuff like that. You get to see these areas that have culture. So it is a good melting pot. I just can't really pinpoint exactly which cultures there are. I like that. I mean, I'm all about multiple cultures. I mean, I think that it's just great to just to be exposed of how other cultures really interpret things and live, and how they view us, how we view them. It really helps us to communicate better, and I really love it.
Absolutely. the other thing cool about Pennsylvania too was you really don't get like so much natural disasters too. Like whereas ours is probably just more of like a flood every now and again, but I think it's more like the snow and maybe some thunderstorms here and there. Is Philly that fortunate? Because I know Pittsburgh's been that way, so it's been like a very safe haven kind of bubble, if you know what I mean. Is Philly like that too?
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, the worst that we get are maybe a little bit of the hurricane aftermaths. You know, like the things that hit more towards the shoreline. I know in Jersey and stuff like they get hit much harder because it's coming off the coast. We get a little bit of the aftermath, but it's very few and far between. The most we have to deal with on a regular yearly basis is the like the snowstorms and the nor'easters. Dealing with that. So, yeah, it's safe.
Very safe. All right, we're down to the last couple questions. So,
Sure.
is there anything that you want to talk about? I guess any questions you have for me?
Really, I would like to get like to know a little bit more about I guess your musical preferences. I mean, you say you're more of a like metal and like harder rock, Metallica and stuff like that. I guess I want to get a little more insight on that. Like, what drew you to that mostly? And you did say that you also like classic rock as well, right?
Well, that was where it started. Yeah, when I was young, I kind of break it down to, let's see, I think it was like 5 albums. I think I had them right here, but it was my first music I was listening to was Three Doors Down, Bruce Springsteen. Let's see, Bush. That was one of the bands out of England. There was one of the punk rocks out of England. Let's see, Metallica was definitely one of them because we had like an hour-long station. I forget which channel it is. My dad always reminds me, and I always forget about it. I'm going to say 105.9, but it lasted for like an hour, and it was just straight Metallica.
Oh, okay.
What else? Just trying to figure out, but I think for now, let's just roll with those 4 because I think there's other ones I'm missing, but those 4, and I grew up on those. Like I grew up for most of my childhood just listening to those kind of bands. A friend of mine in middle school introduced me to alternative rock and alternative metal. So I think it was like Under Oath that was one of the bands that broke me through into that alternative and metal scene too. So after buying and getting into like bands like From On to Ashes, let's see, Imarosa, and some bands like that, I accidentally stumbled upon I always laugh about this because my dad looks at me funny, but I stumbled upon death metal for some reason, and the band was called Dying Fetus.
Oh wow. Okay.
I mean, yeah, it's pretty strong too when they have a band name like that. And it took a little bit, but for some reason I got hooked on it just like that. And after that, I started expanding into the death metal scene. That's when I found about Napalm Death and some of the other big acts, even a lot of the big ones that came out of upper state New York there, Malevolent Creation, Cannibal Corpse, Suffocation, and some bands like that. And
easy names.
When I started the channel, clever names, but they're at least the death metal kind. They're not the happy-go-lucky kind of ones. You know what you're walking into.
Absolutely.
But when I started my channel, the first song I picked, and I thought it was clever too, was No Guts, No Glory by Bolt Thrower, which is one of the metal bands out of England. And what I was thinking was, I think I should do songs that don't have a lot of exposure, or they don't have like a lot of people covering the songs and stuff like that. I thought that would be good, and stupid me, I didn't really follow up on the social media or any of the other aspects that come along with it too that helps promote the channel and say like, hey, come watch my video. It's a lot better than this guy's drum cover and stuff like that. So it took a lot of learning. It took a couple of years for me to try to get it. And I started incorporating all this other stuff, including this podcast a little later on. So here I am. I'm practically a metalhead at heart. And I still go back every now and again, listen to some of the rock and the classic rock ones. We listen to the Kiss, the Black Sabbaths, Dio, Motley Crue. You can name it. A lot of the bands from the 70s and 80s.
And I like how you say that, you try to pick the songs that aren't as known. And I love that. I love to find those that are shared on Facebook or on YouTube that I'm not too familiar with, because it's like I just love to discover these new things. I mean, that new, but like it's new to me, and it really gets to expand my horizons. And hey, it might even lead me to my next cover.
Do you use a iRig? Was that what you used behind you there?
Yeah. So I try to tell people that I am probably the most basic when it comes to recording. I don't like to. I mean, I wish I had the knowledge to do it better, but honestly, it's mainly for convenience. So I have just the regular iRig 2, which honestly, just I put this right through an iPad and I hit record on the video camera. So I record that. That's my side view. My overhead is just an iPhone that's just has no audio to it at all. So honestly, all my equalization is through the module, and I edit everything through iMovie. It's probably the quickest and most basic to do a drum cover. I try to make the most out of it, but honestly, this just for time wise. I mean, I'm a very busy guy with full-time job and 4 kids and stuff like that. But I make time for this because I love it, and it's really, this is the best, easiest way for me to do it, that I can put out the content that I do. Because I feel like if I did it the other ways, I would not have time to put any out at all. So yeah, I mean, and it is the most fun way to do it. I mean, if it gets too complicated, it turns into more of a chore for anything. Then, I just want to know if I'm comfortable with it. I mean, maybe later on, if I can invest in more equipment and better software, I will look into better, more ways to do it. But for right now, this is the best for me.
Absolutely, yeah. I actually use that. I actually had the same thing, and I used that for my first drum cover. I plugged it in my iPhone, and when I saw the video, it was like all scrunched. It wasn't like a full screen, so I just said, I just went for all this trouble just trying to get it done. I'm just going to post this and see where it goes.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of times it's how it starts. Yeah.
Yeah. But eventually I got the GoPro, and that's what I use as my primary camera source. Debating whether to get another one just so I have 2 and just hit record on each one and just go from there.
Yeah, I mean, I always tell people when they ask, the questions, I had the questions on Drummer's Key and some people through general comments. I just tell them, do what works best for you. I mean, I think that's the best way to do it. Some people have multiple GoPros. I mean, I was intimidated because I thought I could never do it because I was mostly exposed to the bigger channels. And I saw, I'm looking around them, I'm like, oh my God, they got GoPros around them and pro lights and crazy setups in these huge studios and top of the line drum mics. And I'm like, I'm not going to be able to do that. But yeah, I mean, that's why, I love the way that I found this, and just do what works best for you. That's the best way to do it.
Absolutely. All right. I guess, was there anything else you wanted to ask me, or anything else you want to get off your chest?
No, I think just really what it is just, I really appreciate you, having me on this, because I think that these are, like I said, I think these are incredible. I love to get insight on other drummers, and how they do things, and just little insights on their lives. I think really the only thing that I wanted to say is that for any of the other drummers out there who are listening, who can take anything from my channel, it's just really is biggest thing is just try to expand your horizons a little bit better. See, you never know what your next new favorite's going to be, and also don't be intimidated by how other people's do it or how other people's are going to say things. Just do what works best for you. Be receptive of criticism, but at the same time, don't let it just diminish your perspective, just diminish your playing. Just do it out there and check out those Facebook groups. I think that's the best way. I mean, I'm on Twitter and Instagram, but I hardly check those out. I think Facebook groups are probably the best way to get the exposure and to connect with people. And next thing you know, before you know it, you could be contacting them through Messenger, arranging collabs, talking about how to do things better, and it just it really helps you out. So yeah, I think it's it.
Yep, definitely. Ash's Facebook group, Two Drums Collaboration, and there was the other one. It was the drum covers. I forget who the guy's name was, but yeah, those Facebook groups, those ones really helped out, and I was really happy to be able to reach out to some of the other drummers and be able to do some collaborations with them too.
Yeah, I think drum covers groups is Gary West, I believe. Yeah, and also I'm on a few other ones. I'm on Electronic Drummers, which does drum samples and stuff like that. I share some stuff to that one. Drums and Drummers is another group. Actually, if you just search drums in those groups, you'll find so many that you can be members of, and just hit them all up and just contact every single one of them. If you got a question, try to answer it. Try to ask them in multiple areas, or if you have a cover that you want to, try to throw them in all the groups. You never know who you're going to connect with, and who's going to check out your channel.
That's the one thing I don't like about Facebook is like it doesn't let you just pick all the groups. You can only pick like one, or at least that's my experience too. I don't know is that something you ran into too?
Well, yeah, if I want to share something, but I want to share it to multiples, I'll type it out all in one. It's usually my first one is Drummers to Watch. Matt's Drumman 190's group. I tend to go there first because, he connected me the most with everybody. It was just, I don't think I would have nearly as many subscribers as I only have, I think 280 something so far right now, but I don't think I would have anywhere near that if I was a part of that group. And on Drummers to Watch, and I really appreciate him. So I tend to put that one message on there, but then I'll copy it and I'll paste it on the every single one, so I don't have to retype and recopy everything. So it just makes it a little bit easier for me. And so you'll see if I go through different groups, if you're following me on different groups, it's verbatim. Everything's exactly the same, but it's just because it's the easiest way. You're right. You wish you can just do all at once, but make it easier for you and quickly just copy and paste. So
no, duly noted. I'll make sure I do that next time. All right. Well, Chris, I want to thank you so much for coming on my podcast. It's been a blast here, man. I think it's great to talk about our drummers on the other side of the state too. So it's been an honor, man.
Absolutely. The honor's all mine. Thank you very much. I really appreciate it. And any other drummers who can get on this, definitely do it. This was fun. This was great. Thank you so much.
I'm working on it. I did get Ash. I did finally get Ash, but he's
awesome.
Going to be near the end of April.
All right, great.
I'll tune in for that one.
I'll be looking forward to that one, definitely.
All right, thank you so much. And to the audience out there, me and Throwback here got a nice little collaboration going on. It's going to be Sum 41 Fat Lip, which we're working on right now. Hopefully release it soon.
Can't wait for that one too. I know it's going to be great. Thanks for arranging and editing that one too. I really appreciate that.
No worries. I got a good amount of free time on my hands. All right. Thank you so much again, Chris. Stay safe and stay tuned, y'all.
You too, buddy. Take care.